It's been 15 years searching tirelessly for the Jimmy Two Shoes pilot episode, but the search is finally over because one of the creators of Jimmy Two Shoes, Edward K., who I actually talked with before, has released the full 6 minutes and 30-second pilot episode for the show with his brand new video, Jimmy Two Shoes, Long Lost Pilot Episode, here at last. So let's get into this analysis video, but before we do, if you are new here, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us on out into that YouTube algorithm. The previously mentioned Edward K. has finally released the pilot of his old 2009 cartoon, Jimmy Two Shoes, out on his YouTube channel. And this is very interesting because it appears that he's very recently opened up this YouTube channel. So he definitely had some big plans, and oh boy, did we see them. He opened up this YouTube channel literally last week on April 29th, 2025, with a biography of, "Hi, I'm screenwriter and author Edward K. Pixels and Pages is my official YouTube channel, where I post examples and discussions of my work in an electric range of genres, such as screenwriter in comedy, animation, science, 1-hour drama, and even preschool, as well as my work as a published author of fiction and non-fiction in both the adult and children's space, in genres as diverse as science, mental health, and crime fiction. I will also be posting interviews with other creatives and sharing industry tips and advice on writing, plus discussing case histories as a writer and producer on projects, such as This Hour Has 22 Minutes, Jimmy Two Shoes, Finding Stuff Out, Addison, Veraday at Rope's End, and more. I hope you'll enjoy getting to know the inside stories and meeting other creators here. I always love hearing from the creators who've made my childhood and where they are today. So this is a channel that I'll 100% be keeping up with. Now, with that in mind, as of the moment I'm filming this video, Edward has released the pilot episode for the public view 16 hours ago on May 4th, 2025, a day that'll go down in history for Jimmy Two Shoes fans. Before we take a look at the actual pilot and its contents, I want to go over the description of the video because there's some interesting behind the scenes stuff to learn here. This is it, the long lost Jimmy Two Shoes pilot that never aired and has only been an industry rumor until now. I wrote this episode when Sean Scott and I were trying to find a broadcaster. My friend and colleague, Ida Levy, who was the producer, managed to raise the funds for us to do a 7-minute demo. In my view, this was the purest and best episode of Jimmy Two Shoes ever made. I got to write it as my dream show. Not a word of what I wrote was cut. Those who have seen it agree that this was the strongest, funniest episode before meddling censors and second-guessing executives dumbed it down and watered it down. It was circulated only within the animation and broadcast industries as a proof of concept to land us a television deal. I still don't know who sent it to me. A DVD arrived literally on my doorstep with no note or address. Somebody, obviously, just felt I should have it. They were probably afraid that there would be legal liabilities for sharing it, since everyone who had a copy had to sign a legal document saying they would not distribute it. Hence the anonymity. I, however, never had to sign any such document since I was never officially given one, so here it is. And now, at last, the long-lost pilot/demo has finally taken the elevator up from Miseryville into daylight. I hope you enjoy it and would love to hear your comments. While you're here, please check out my book trailer for Our Little Secret, the upcoming thriller that I have co-written with co-author Michael Klassen K. The book trailers are for a high school mystery novel that is being released in April 2026 by Cormorant Books. The premise surrounds 3 high school seniors who are forced to murder a sociopathic teacher who is out to destroy their lives. Kind of Dexter meets One of Us Lying, with an emphasis on the Dexter part of the equation. Hint, there is a little bit of Heloise in almost everything I write. The trailers are part of the research for a thesis project I'm doing for my master's degree over the next couple of months. All of the Our Little Secrets trailers are the same. What I'm curious to find out is which thumbnail attracted your attention the most. Feel free to leave comments and share with your friends. Many thanks, Edward K. That sounds interesting. I'd actually like to participate in that. Wow, so those were some pretty incredible insights. We've learned that the censorship wasn't by part of Edward or co-creator Sean Scott, or any of the other creatives, which, as someone who's against censorship and sensitivity faulting creativity, I absolutely love to hear this. It was the broadcasters and executives who's invested in the IP, which I assume it was higher-ups down at Teletoon who's altered the show to turn it into what we know as today. I certainly disagree with that approach, not that I have any dislike of the final product. I believe that the broadcasters and executives should have had creative freedom in their minds at the forefront, instead of ratings. But huge props to Edward and Sean for sticking with it, being able to at least turn the IP into a show. Edward mentions that there was a point in his life where a DVD of the pilot was left on his doorstep from an anonymous sender, someone who left themselves as anonymous to avoid any legal liabilities for sharing this. Apparently, everyone who's ever had a copy of the pilot was forced to sign a legal document saying they would not distribute the pilot. However, Edward reveals he was never bound under anything like that, as he was never issued any document as such. I also really enjoy hearing that the pilot is Edward's favorite episode he's ever made, being able to write it as his dream show, with literal creative freedom, nothing cut down, censored, or watered down. He quotes the pilot as the strongest and funniest episode of Jimmy Two Shoes there is, which I can definitely agree with and am glad he thinks so. I also appreciate his love for his characters, so much so that he claims that he adds a little bit of Heloise into almost everything he's ever worked on. For example, his book, Our Little Secret, apparently has a Heloise inspiration in it one way or another. Now with all that in mind, let's take a look at the pilot. We open up with a black version of the logo, fading into a shot of the Misery Inc. headquarters. It is here where we have Lucifer and Sammy reviewing their latest torture schemes. The office design here is pretty interesting and I really like it. We have a cool lava pit that the desk overlooks, and tubes that seemingly transport the dead down here into hell in order to reincarnate them, aka new torture subjects for the devil, with Lucifer proud, feeling as if he's really making a difference in this world. He checks in on his latest scheme, the 3-day traffic jam. We do see a pileup of cars. However, in the background, we can hear citizens singing a happy song instead of being angry. Lucifer is asking what's wrong with this screen not showing him results, where Sammy tells him he believes the problem is Jimmy Two Shoes, who seemingly is the ringleader of this happiness, quite literally turning all of these misery frowns upside down. So remember that scene we saw in the Season 2 extended theme song, and if I recall, some other episodes too. Yeah, that spinning mouth ideal has originated from the pilot. Lucifer and Sammy plot to find someone so evil and villainous that they could have the chance to kill Jimmy once and for all. But the ironic part that Lucifer fails to ever notice is that if you're in hell, you can't die. This is your eternal place of suffer. So all of his attempts to kill Jimmy in the end would never go anywhere. I feel like that was the subtle joke injected into the show the entire time. Eventually, they land upon this new person who's died and has been sent to hell. They pick her and send her on the mission. A young girl named Heloise, who appears like an innocent, charming girl, but she's truly evil and seemingly reincarnated as a Frankenstein's monster type being. One could only imagine what she was like when she was alive back on Earth. She introduces herself as Jimmy's new neighbor. As Jimmy reaches out to shake her hand, she snaps his hand in a bear trap. Heloise, pretending to want to help, she takes Jimmy over to her house to help remove the bear trap. Eventually, she pries the bear trap open with a crowbar and offers him a drink that she's crafted with various poisonous liquids and products. When Jimmy drinks it, he experiences a large electric shock. Heloise pretends as if she can't do anything right, where Jimmy asks if he can show her around town since she's new here, which she agrees to and thinks of various more ways to kill him. Their first stop was at the Lake of Eternal Fire. The lake seems to be the home of a tentacle monster. While looking at the view, an adorable little creature comes to say hello. As Jimmy pets the little thing, his phone starts to ring. He picks it up, and as we can see, this appears to be a device with an antenna and is able to feed picture and audio. It is here where Jimmy is talking with his best friend, Beelzebub, the Prince of Darkness himself, son of his ultimate enemy. Beelzebub checks in to see what's up, as Jimmy informs him that he's showing their new neighbor around town. We see that this device can also form holograms, where Beelzebub can peek out of the screen and take a gander at the new neighbor. With concern, he tells Jimmy he doesn't think he should have taken her to a zoo, because they might not let her out. As in the background, while they're chatting, Heloise is acting like a predatorial animal trying to hunt and eat this cute little creature. Jimmy retaliates, saying she's actually nice, to where Beelzebub tells him that his dad doesn't bring nice people down here to torture. Except Jimmy, because, well, he stands for everything Lucifer is against. And, well, that kid who forgot to recycle. Which, when I first watched this earlier, I had a literal laugh attack. That was so unexpected. Jimmy furthermore tells Beelzebub that he's wrong about her. Meanwhile, she's literally scorfing down that creature. Beelzebub's departing words gives Jimmy some advice, where he shouldn't take his eyes off of her, which Jimmy figures, well, he's right, because of course, that would be rude. And rude is one thing that Jimmy, Goody Two-Shoes, is not. Their tour continues with walks in a park, with an absolutely breathtaking background with trees, hills, gazebos, and portals in the sky, bringing in more of the dead down into hell to torture. Next, Heloise takes out her camera and wants a picture of Jimmy standing next to the Lake of Eternal Fire. She tells him to inch back a bit until he accidentally steps into the lake, where the tentacle monster grabs stranglehold of him and brings him down into the lake to drown him. Later, Jimmy picks a dead flower for Heloise, but she isn't impressed, as she shows him up with a bouquet for him. However, that bouquet was filled with bees that swarmed Jimmy's face, causing him to panic, seeking refuge in a nearby porta potty. The bees can't get in, so they do the very next thing, take the form of a fist and punch the porta potty down into the lake to get eaten by the tentacle monster once again. At the end of the day, Jimmy returns Heloise home. Jimmy is in a completely rough condition right now, with a head bandage wrap, an infected right eye, a black left eye, scratches, tears, and splinters. Heloise decides to repay Jimmy's kindness with a nice piece of homemade apple pie. She brings him inside and offers him a piece of apple pie that she's inserted a poisonous orb into. Jimmy reluctantly takes it and swallows it whole. And when it enters his stomach, a huge explosion occurs inside his stomach, which likely destroyed a lot of internal organs and veins. Jimmy, looking sickly ill, he says he's feeling a little woozy, as his right finger snaps off and his hair falls off like leaves in the wind. The doorbell rings as Lucifer welcomes himself in, revealing everything. Sometimes, the truth can hurt, as he tells Jimmy that everything his new gal pal, Heloise, did was on purpose, with Lucifer and Sammy hoping to see a broken Jimmy, as he tells them that he could never hate Heloise for anything that she's put him through. She's just a sweet girl who, in his humble opinion, should attend some anger management classes, as he melts into a gray paste. This is where Heloise started to fall in love with Jimmy, a boy who could never hate her no matter who she was in life, and what she does to him in death. Heloise also implies she lost a lot of boyfriends in the past in this way, implying that she's done a lot of dark things to her past boyfriends when she was alive. Almost immediately, Jimmy reemerges from the paste, glowing with life. Lucifer admits defeat today and says he'll get him next time. To unleash this anger, Lucifer takes his leave to go torture some lawyers and teachers. As the two disappear, Heloise drags Jimmy onto the couch, where the couch springs into a torture device used to stretch Jimmy. As we see, nothing's changed. And yeah, that's the long lost pilot episode. I'll leave a link in the info down below to where you can watch this episode. It's on Edward's YouTube channel, so go watch it, give him a subscribe, tell him I sent you, and share the episode with your friends. To give my closing thoughts on the episode, I really enjoyed seeing what Jimmy Two Shoes both could have been and also what it used to be. Jimmy Two Shoes is my third favorite cartoon ever, meaning it gets a spot on my Olympic podium, so this is very important to me and my childhood growth. I appreciate Edward still caring about the fanbase his show has accumulated even after 16 years, and finally giving us the most requested thing we've been wanting more than a season 3. I was impressed to see how little the art style has changed from pilot to show. That's extraordinarily rare to see. And as someone who's seen the original character designs long before and wondered about them for years, words cannot describe how emotional I am to see these characters actually moving around. The comedy style felt one-on-one the exact same, which doesn't surprise me at all, since this is an Edward K. production. Honestly, I can't believe I'm finally seeing this pilot episode after all of this time. It literally feels like I'm dreaming right now. And to think, literally on my last live stream, I randomly talked about Jimmy Two Shoes kind of out of nowhere, so that's kind of funny. I freaking love this show. It's my third favorite Western cartoon. So he shouts beach party when he hops up, and he just pokes him away, and he just flies off screen. It's my favorite representation of that joke. The last point I'd like to make is an interesting one, which is that Edward has finally put to rest the longest running rumor of the show, and that is that Jimmy was killed by getting run over by a bus and was accidentally sent to hell, with evidence right here of Calcutta drop, asking if that fan rumor was true, where Edward replies with, "You are correct." So it looks like that bus in the season 1 theme song did indeed have a hidden meaning this whole time. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, just consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, tell me what you thought. Did you know that Jimmy Two Shoes had a long lost pilot? And when did you become a fan of the show? If you'd like to see my full breakdown of Tinymon in Johnny Test, click the video you're currently seeing on your screen. Or maybe if you'd rather see some awesome gameplay of Totally Spies Cyber Mission, which if that's the case, click the playlist that you're currently seeing on your screen.